raised in the slum, but I chill with my guns. Kept it on the low, but we fall from the bone. True son of the sun, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love LIB. Even though it's far, when we show we can face it. It's not a prophecy, I know that we can rise again. Holding my hand, I holding your own. United, we stand, divided, we fall. So that's what I say when I can't with ball. When I chillin' on that side, and I get no bro. I got L to the O to the V and the E. If we fighting together, we can conquer the sea. From the east to the west, then waving the flag from the north to the side. Yeah, that's joining the team. You go where you pella, you love my crown. Who kill it? Who got shown up?
I love Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Free land on liberty, Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I love Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Mama was born, yeah. Papa was born, yeah. They hold us together, the honey boy, yeah. Nabali kena koya bake na papa kubo. Nabali kena koya bake na papa kubo. Nabali pole pole na papa kubo. Nabali pole pole na papa kubo. La biro waka poma o. La biro waka ma o. Balanda anwa waka ma o. Anwa waka ma o. Anwa waka
even though it's far, when we show we can face it. It's not a prophecy, I know that we can rise again. Holding my hand, I'm holding your own. United, we stand, divided, we fall. That's what I say when I can't with ball. When I tell it.
Exactly. Today, the day is.
And the E, we fighting together, we can conquer this thing on the east to the west.
September 25th, 2023. That means we have roughly about 40 more days to the most promising future selection of our country. That means we're going to be electing the next leader, the next cohort of officers in Liberia. That is the reason why we are always here from Mondays through Fridays to inform the Liberian people what is happening in the country. So this is how I'd like to welcome you to the program Open Conversation. Open Conversation is a 2-hour current affairs program that talks about the major happenings in the country. We reveal all of the things that need to be revealed to you Liberian people and tell you about the progress of the government. We tell you about the most trending issues in the country. My name is Washington Prince Tapper Jr. Today, my boss is not around, TT is not around, so I'm taking the wheel and driving the perception of the people tonight. So this is how I like to bring down the music, and this is how we're going to do it. So TT is not around tonight, so I am going to drop the show. This is how officially like to say good evening to all of you and welcome to the most fascinating program. The best thing happening in the country at about this time on ELBC 99.9. Open Conversation welcomes all of you to follow, to listen. Those of you are viewers, those of you are listeners on radio. However you're watching, however you're listening, I want to use this opportunity to say welcome and stick and stay with us. Please, let's go through the conversation. So Open Conversation has a trend, and the trend is that we introduce our guest and we talk about the trending issues, and then we take few calls on the trending issues, and we bring our guests in studio to talk about the many issues that we have on our template for the night. So tonight our guest is no one else but presidential aspirant Sheikh Al-Mustafa Kuyate, an advocate, a politician, and someone who wants to lead Liberia. He is going to tell us his platform for Liberia and going to tell us all of the packages he has to deliver to Liberia if he becomes the next president of the Republic of Liberia. So these are things we'll be looking at. For trending issues, we all know that the president visits Lofa County, and he makes rounds in Lofa County. Today he visited Salaye, he visited Zozo, and there were, tremendous speeches. There were, wonderful remarks from the citizens of Lofa County, the people of Salaye, the people of Zozo. Lofa County turned out today for the president, and you can just imagine how wonderful and colorful they even was today. Now, it tells you that the political dynamics in the country, particularly in Lofa County, has suddenly changed. This time around, it is not about the traditional perception. It is not about relative political, attaching politics to, familyship or whatever, but it's about, going into understanding the kind of politician you are entrusting your votes and your future with. So the people of Lofa County today turn out in their numbers to welcome the president, both in Salaye and in Zozo. So the president made remarks in Salaye and Zozo. So we just like to interrupt you and bring you some of the major happenings that okay, so my technicians are telling me that we are not set for that yet. So, but today, those of you who followed, those of you who watched what was happening in Lofa County today, it tells you, it speaks a loud volume. It tells you about the political dynamics of the country. It tells you how things have changed. Are we okay now? It tells you how things have changed. It tells you that the perception of the people when it comes to elections in the country, it tells you that they have gone a different way. This time, it's not going to be about this is my uncle, this is my relative, it's going to be about how well you have affected the lives of the people in the country, in these different, counties. It's going to be about your positivities. It's going to be about your impact. It's not going to be about your history. It's not going to be about, your personality. It's not going to be about, oh, this person served this place and he's from this county. So definitely this county belongs to the person. If you do not have any impact, you do not have any, footprint, you do not have anything, to prove to the Liberian people that yes, indeed, I am from Grand Coup. I have positively affected the people in Grand Coup. I'm from Lofa County. I have positively affected the people in Lofa County. I'm from Nimba County. I have positively affected the people in Nimba County. I am from whatever part of Liberia. No, the Liberian people mentality when it comes to elections have suddenly changed. It has changed from that normal way of doing things to a transformative way of electing their leaders. So are we good now? So let's bring you a play-by-play description of what happened in Lofa County today.
Yes.
Lofa will never be the same. Let we see into my people. Lofa will never be the same. Let we see into my people. If we can give we had a chance, there will be no more suffering, my people. We need to be very mindful because we discussing our country. We are the big mountains. They see to go to the
Listen to the previous speaker, the people of Zozo, the previous speaker, I want to say, oh yeah! People of Zozo, Zozo, oh yeah! I want to say, oh yeah! Zozo, oh yeah! We went to election 2017. The Nazi election, went to election 2017. Go back to the election, did not vote for me. Said that go back to the counties and go back and vote for me.
I asked the question, why?
Did not vote for me.
No one could answer that question, and I said to them, yes, Nova County voted for me. No one could answer that. I looked at the record of Nova County. Nova County voted for me. And that's why Nova County voted for me. In our government, there are sons and daughters of Nova County. In our government, Nova County and daughters of Nova County. It doesn't matter the percentage of voting. No idea of voting for me, whether it's 10% or 25% or 50%. Of voting for me, your son, or 25%. This is why you see, I'm still your son. Unprecedented development. This is why the corridor.
All right, so you listen to the president. So there are many of these different events that happen today in Lofa County. Now, the elections is not going to be about, oh, this person is not from this county. He doesn't belong to this SOAR. He doesn't. Now, if you listen to the president, he said the reason why the people said Lofa didn't vote for him, but he believes that Lofa voted for him in his government, there is inclusiveness. Right? The people of Lofa County, the sons and daughters of Lofa County have been included, they've been incorporated in his government. If you go to Lofa County now, you see they have been Lofians incorporated in the George Weah government that are taking development back to the soil of Lofa County. They're citizens of Lofa County. Now, these are things the people perception is going to be driven at. What are they, benefiting socially, economically? What are the benefits? So these are priorities. These are things the people are going to look at. So the electoral dynamics, the style of voting, the way people voted has suddenly changed. It has suddenly changed. So if you saw the number of people that turned out today, both in Salaye and Zozo, it speaks a different volume. And what is that volume? It tells you that the mindset of the people in Lofa County has suddenly changed. The mentality of the people in Nimba County has suddenly changed. The mentality of the people in Bowman County has suddenly changed. The mentality of the people all across the 15 counties of the Republic of Liberia has suddenly changed. Because why? When you give someone the responsibility of national leadership, that person must be able to demonstrate that leadership to your expectation and your ability. Then you can be able to repose the confidence and the trust in that person for the second term or for whatever you want to do. So it tells you the political dynamics in the country has changed. So the people of Lofa County, if the president got 10% or he got 5% or he got 15% or whatever percentage he got, this time around in these elections, it's going to change. With the likes of those Lofians who are recruited, incorporated in his government, and they are taking development back to their people. Some things that they didn't see, some of these unprecedented developments, they didn't see the road construction, the infrastructure, the opportunity for scholarships and all of that. These things weren't visible at the time. So right about now, when they are having experience of these, social benefits, economic benefits, and all of that, it tells you that the voting percentage in Lofa County at about this time during these electoral periods will definitely and certainly change. So the political dynamics, you saw it. It was a vivid reality in the 2020 senatorial by-elections. You saw it with Joseph Jala. You saw it. The figure changed. The mindset of the people in Lofa County changed. So it tells you that if you were once called the grandfather, the landowner of Lofa County, you must be able to put your axes together, because the perception of the people in Lofa County has suddenly changed. The turnout today, they came out in their numbers. So it tells you, even if the president did not obtain 7% of the vote or 10%, like he said, this come around is going to be a different ball game. So it is happening in Lofa County, and it is all a beautiful and colorful moment there in Lofa County. Now, it was a sad thing on yesterday to have discovered and wake up to a very unfortunate news about a fire disaster in Caldwell, leaving at least 4 to 5 persons dead. It was unfortunate, and we want to extend our sympathy to those bereaved families who are mourning the loss of their relatives and loved ones and friends. I was watching the video and I saw the National Disaster Management Agency. They were there. Media institutions were there. The government is concerned. The private sector is concerned. The Liberian people are concerned about the tragedy in Caldwell that led at least 4 to 5 persons dead instantly through a fire outbreak. So today, nothing much on the trending issue. So we talk about the fire outbreak. We talk about President Weah triumphant entry into Lofa County. Let's go to the lines and take few calls, and then we welcome in our guest for the discussion for tonight. 08805140996 are the numbers. Trending issues. What will be your view and your participation? The conversation is now open. What are the Liberian people saying of what is going on in Lofa County? Let's go to the lines and take a few calls. 08805140996 are the numbers. Good evening.
Good evening, Washington.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Rosetta from Raleigh.
Rosetta, go ahead.
So, this is on the show that this is your broadcast morning. So, let me just thank you for the platform and putting all the opportunity to speak our mind. Like we see the president enter and try today and watching on LMTV, and let me thank you for LMTV that will give you a lot to all. He was always tell the people on the fire that if you stay the protection in the state, therefore that means so I will not do everything. And he is doing most government. Then the concept and point the launch of started. You will see that the data work are pulling the crack. So what war of a 12 years? If you see the crack inside the weapon, the president will not work. So I don't know how the opposition want to.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rosetta. Thank you very much. Let's leave it right there. Let's go to the lines and take at least 2 or 3 more calls, and then we invite in our guests for a full discussion tonight. Good evening.
Hello?
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where you call from? Good evening,
Hello?
sir. Good evening.
I'm calling from Beaumont, Mr. Sear.
Go ahead, Mr. Sear.
Yeah, okay,
Mr. Sear, go ahead, sir.
Say something, concerning the election. You see, the people that giving all these vote or something, to how to vote. Some of them they are making it very long because now all the people know vote. So sometimes they make it very short. When you take it for honor, 1, 2, 3, that's the president, that just we are there. When you come for up, you take it because mostly the people that will take it for up, they will be able to, that doesn't that want to do. But the people always want to vote, you have to make it short for them. Take it from downtown for 1, 2, 3. Take it from downtown for 1, 2, 3. So this is very easy. Then they say check for up to count 18. It will be hard for some people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's take one more call and then we go to our guests. We'll welcome our guests tonight. 08805140996 are the numbers to call, and you'll be part of this conversation. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Good evening. What's your name and where you call from?
I'm Pastor Doya from Bon County.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my son Washington is magnific, but I'm in love. In Bon County people, we are in love with this program, but
Okay.
we are always being cut out. 30 minutes from now, then it will be out and we'll get ready to partake in it. That has been our problem. I don't know why we have been out of this whole program until after election.
We are going to certainly address that, sir. We will certainly address that.
Please do that, bro. I really want to be a part before the last day.
We're sorry. We address that. Let's take this call. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, sir. What's your name and where you call from?
I'm Richard Barris calling from Robbie opposite Steven Tower Estate.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, is this ELBC?
This is ELBC.
Yeah, thank you so much. I listened to your deliberation concerning President Weah triumphant entry into LOFA. Is that not so?
Go ahead, sir. You're following.
Thank you so much. Everyone wants to see the president, especially a soccer star like President Weah. That's one. Two, the person of Thomas Fowler that using so much of the state resources, they want to see the man who is behind that. So they will come out.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that their coming out does not mean Joseph Bakai have lost Olofa County. But they are coming out because they want to see this man who is spending so much money.
What was the interpretation in the 2020 elections when the Unity Party put forward a candidate in Lofa County and he was defeated by a supported CDC candidate? What did you learn from that?
And this is where my point is coming from, because if you saw that election, there was so much spent for that senatorial position.
There was so much what?
So much money spent in that place for Senator Jawan to win. So by job we are going to
this is an unfounded unfounded claim. You don't have any empirical evidence to substantiate what you're saying.
Listen, my brother, I'm born in Lofa County. I'm a Lothian by birth.
If you do not support a particular politician, that doesn't mean that Lofa doesn't support as well.
No, this is not an issue of my debate. My issue here is President Weah is a soccer star and everybody want to see him. That's one.
Hasn't he been to Lofa County before? Thank you very much, sir. Good evening. I have my guests already. Good evening, sir. 30 seconds.
This is ELBC?
This is ELBC.
Yeah, thank you. You know, don't matter. Those people are opposition. We agree. Everything they will take this glory. You know the problem there, like for every family. Down to President Weah, you know very well that President Weah is a human magnet. Anywhere you go, he's human magnet. And also the people love him. The country loves him because of what he's doing.
There are different reasons. There are different reasons why people get attracted to other people. President Weah is one person who a lot of people will get attracted to him for different reasons. So you can say because of football, he has transcended from being a football to being president. So there are different factors. There are different reasons, developmental reasons, human social reasons, and all different reasons why the people will gravitate to him. So just forget about that. Thank you very much. I have my business.
The man do for in this country. There is no other president can do it. It's just because that we want full business. And the reason why business some people driving behind from President Weah, they talking. When the people from the opposition come and start talking, how can I think?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Let's leave you there. Let's go straightly to
from the east to the west, north to the south, yeah, let's come together. They say you're not there, we stay.
I have my guest in studio, a presidential candidate, and he's Sheikh Al Mustafa Kuyate.
Yeah.
And he is the presidential candidate for the Liberia First Movement. I hope I'm correct. Yeah. So today I have him in studio, and we're going to be having a friendly and a civil conversation about his platform and what he intends to do for Liberia. So, Mr. Kuyate, good evening and welcome.
Thank you very much, Washington, and thanks to our audience, the listening audience. It is a privilege to be here today.
Exactly, and it's also a privilege and welcome to Open Conversation.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kuyate, who are you? Can you better tell the Liberian people, who are you?
Sheikh Al Mustafa Kuyate is a family man, married at age 21.
Oh.
Has been married for the past 23 years. I'm 44 years old. I'm blessed with 8 children. I'm a businessman by career. I'm an activist by passion. And I'm a state person by my action. And also, I'm one person who believes
that in the absence of justice and accountability, democracy exists not.
Okay.
And I'm a former member of the ruling party, the CDC.
Oh, okay. That's good.
And I'm also the seventh in charge of Liberia First Movement, and also the presidential candidate of Liberia First Movement. And I'm number 10 on the ballot, the 10th commandment.
That makes it very intriguing. But anyway, that is Sheikh Mustafa Kuyate.
Yeah.
Now, so let's go into it. Now, what ignites or what brings about this zeal for Sheikh Mustafa to run as president for the Republic of Liberia?
There is vacancy of leadership as the present and past leaderships has proven that there is scarcity in leadership in our country. And we realize that Liberia, a great nation like ours, has become one of the divided nations, even though it should be a united nation. We've also realized that we have huge resources that cannot be defined without the population of this country, where 65% of our people, the young people, are young people. And we realize that despite the increment of youth population in Liberia, unemployment has become a new creation for past and present governments. We also realize that, yes, we have had governments as we have government today, but accountability has become very challenging for our governments. Leaders have failed to take leadership to move the country forward. And we have realized that development has not been a priority for our people. When other countries are moving forward progressively, we are reversing in speed. And after observing these issues, and I spent a good amount of time with the CDC, like 12 years, from 2004 to 2020, like 16 years altogether. And then when I realized that the reason for which it was organized, it was different from the implementation. And Liberia First Movement was created by Liberian citizens, some of whom are marketeers, some are Yana boys, some are from the disabled community, and some are from the student community. And they invited me to join, and I asked, what does it stand for? And Liberia First Movement it was a pro-democratic movement that was pressurizing the government of Liberia, headed by President George Manawia, to ensure the War and Economic Crimes Court are established, to ensure that government become accountable to the people, to ensure that the president responds to the people because it is a duty to do that, to ensure that that laws and orders prevail in this country. And the vision of Liberia First Movement is one Liberia, one people, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And interestingly, the mission of Liberia First Movement is putting Liberia first.
Okay.
Its agenda is creating Liberia we deserve through reconciliation, empowerment, accountability, and development. And Liberia First Movement has a clear motto: together we can. After going through that, I saw it as a nationalistic movement, as I still believe that it is the way forward to unite our nation. It is a way forward to empower our citizenry. It is a way forward to provide accountable leadership for our people. It is a way forward to develop this country.
Through the Liberia
First Movement. That is how I got inspired.
Okay.
And I asked myself, if we entrust people like President George Weah, a good friend of mine, who is also one of my mentors,
okay,
one of those that encouraged me to become politician, to get into politics, who led me rightly to the CDC, who inspired me to become who I am today. I said that Liberia has more good people than bad people. But there are more good people who remain seated, who remain in hiding and complaining before taking action. So I decided to come out and say, you know what? I have lost the senatorial seats twice. This time, my agenda is a clear agenda, it's an inclusive agenda, which includes the agenda of Liberia First Movement. I'm moving forward, and I applied with Liberia First Movement. They accepted my application, and I was nominated to the National Election Commission. I went through the processes, and my nomination was finally accepted. And I can tell you for sure that we are optimistic that these elections, which we believe must be free and fair, that when the wills of the people prevails, we shall become winners.
The Liberia First movement.
The Liberia First movement.
Now, you said something while you were explaining, and you talk about the senatorial, how you lost the senatorial elections. How many did you lose?
I lost twice.
Twice. Now, if you, Shekwi Ate, who wants to be Liberia next president, will lose twice in the senatorial elections, how is your chances and possibilities for you to win the presidency?
The man who is now president of Liberia lost the election as a presidential candidate. He reduced his height. He went for vice president. He lost also. So if he can become president today, if you look around and read about Abraham Lincoln, who also lost twice, more than 5 times to become representatives. It's Sheikh Kuyati who just lost 3 times. Losing an election doesn't mean you have failed. Losing an election strengthens one to move forward, to think higher, and to do their own imaginable things. I tell you something, I might have lost the seat, but I won the confidence of the Liberian people.
And then let me hold you right there.
2014,
okay,
when we were going through the election, we had health hazard, where we had Ebola, 11 persons from our family, immediate family members, died in that process, and I diverted my campaign from voting for Sheikh to or life save could save another. So I was not focused on becoming a senator. I was focused on how can we help to restore the hope of our people. How can we help those who are ill? How can we help to support them? How can we help to put stop to cremation? At the time of Ebola, our people's bodies were burned. You are aware of that. They call it cremation. And we worked very, very hard, tirelessly. And we did everything possible to put halt to cremation of our people. And we negotiated with USAID through global community. The Liberians were given land to bury the people through the National Traditional Council, headed by Chief Zanzakawa. And that was organized and managed by Madam Musu Komon and also Madam Sita Fofana. I can say this to you clearly. In 2014, my focus was the restoration of hope of the Liberian people, not to get the seat. Because in the absence of the people, the seat become useless. In 2020, when I contested, we also had democratic coup, plotted coup.
What do you mean?
There was a referendum which was brought forth to the people. The referendum was carrying the photo of the president. The referendum, the people were not actually informed about it, truly, and they were asked to vote that it was in the interest of them, that the presidential tenure was being reduced. But then I was a member of the CDC, and we're talking about 16 years. And I said, I know why 16 years. If this 6 years passes, if referendum is passed, what will happen? The first 6 years will be free. Then the first 5 years, President Weah will have an easy ride and have another 5 years, 10 years, plus 16 years. I said, that is undermining democracy. And I said no to it. I campaigned 2 months and it trusted it. 2 weeks to election. Other candidates joined me, but then the CPP, that included the UP today and the ANC, other members yesterday, they joined me in a fight. And Liberians overwhelmingly voted to say no to referendum.
Yeah, but then let me hold you there.
Let me conclude. You asked the question. Let me conclude.
Go ahead.
So when that happened, my desire at the time, my intention at the time, my thoughts at the time was to protect democracy. Was not just to be elected as a senator. When I lost the election, I was the first person that conceded to Mr. Dillon, who is now a senator. And I stood by him that that election could not be rigged. And trust me, today I'm very happy that the referendum didn't go through. Something like the entire country voted against. That was more than winning the senatorial seat.
Look, you said something, and I want to draw you back to what you just said. Now, you talk about the referendum, how the president's picture was being placed on the referendum. Now, but did you think the president's picture being placed on a referendum had anything to do with the people making their decision?
The referendum was not about the president. It was about Liberian people.
And they decided.
They decided, and they said no.
So what was the influence then?
The influence, what was the influence? We came out and educated the people that this was against you. And guess what? They listened to us. Liberians are not stupid people. Liberians are smart people.
Liberians aren't stupid people,
yes,
like you said.
Yes.
Now, you contested 2 times,
yes,
and they didn't vote you.
They voted me. While I was focused on doing these 2 elections,
and you are basically into advocacy and making sure the Liberian people understand that the basic things that they need to have as Liberian people, they have it. But they didn't vote you. They saw you in the elections. They saw you on the ballot paper. They know your potential, but they rejected you.
I was not rejected.
Are you the senator now?
I was not rejected. What was my focus at the time?
Okay,
I succeeded in that.
All right.
I wanted us to have no to referendum. I won that. Liberians overwhelmingly voted against that and say, yes, we stand with the Sheikh Kuyate, no to referendum. In 2014, I said no to election and yes to the health and the safety of the Liberian people. Liberians overwhelmingly stood by me. I can tell you, I lost no election. The seat is not the election. Election is held almost every day. But my concern has been the Liberian people and the protection of our sovereignty.
So do you think in your mind that you've won the conscience of the Liberian people?
I'm admired by every Liberian. I receive calls almost every time. If I'm doing these elections, all the babos I have not spent 1 cent on my own.
Liberian people,
daily people individual call me and say, you know what? Can you share your campaign pictures with us? We're doing t-shirt, all things. They do it, and they always say, don't publish our name. I can say this to you. This is why I always say to people that I Sheikh Kuyate will never accept an appointed position in this country. When I lost election, I'll continue to speak to the Liberian people. When I lost election, I'll continue to advocate for good governance. I will not personalize any struggle. I will continue to focus on the principle that instituted this country as a sovereign state. And I can tell you for sure, the Liberia First Movement is an emblem for Liberia.
All right, so let's move to this, Sheikh Kuyate. Now, we're talking about the mentality of the Liberian people when it comes to voting. I want you to take a flashback. Look at the Liberian people in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, and up to the 2023. Now, what do you think has changed when the Liberian people go to the polls?
In the 60s, when you are called Kuyate, you couldn't vote. In the 70s, if you are called Yakpawolo, you couldn't even be elected. In the 80s, when you are called Washington, the question will be there that Congressman, you are not acceptable to the society. And the progressive, a group of people that we always forget, and we are forgotten, the Liberians are forgotten. They need to be applauded, commended by Liberians of all walks of life. Why? These are people that fought for multi-party system in this country. The realization of their fight has brought about 20 candidates this time around running for the presidential election. Today, their fight for an inclusive Liberia has 2 female candidates today for the presidency. Today, their fight for Liberia, for all Liberians, has Okuyate today running for president, has Oflomo for the Senate, has Ojalo for the Senate, has Obai for representative, has Wia for president. That is to tell you that the fight of yesterday, those of us who believe that they have now won, because they won yesterday, that is what today we enjoyed multi-party system. Because they won yesterday, that is why those who were not allowed to go with some names in school now go to school with those names. You couldn't go to school with Tipote. You couldn't go to school with Nyankwe. You couldn't go to school with Kamara. But today, if I respond to you, I say to the progressives, thank you so much.
So, and you talking about the progressive. I am talking about the voters. Now,
Now,
I'm coming.
Hail the foundation.
I'm coming, Sheikh. I'm coming.
It's burning, so it's off for now. So I beg. All the technician just call me. Thank you. So I am running up and down. So we can reach out to you. Yes, sir. Are you done, Chief? My personal number?
So we have a technical problem. So we're going to address that and to be rescheduled.